Title: A Serenade of Stars. In a quiet town nestled between the rolling hills and a sparkling river, there lived two souls who, though worlds apart in their own ways, were destined to meet. Eleanor was a young woman with a heart as vast as the sky. She loved the stars and spent her nights gazing at them, wondering about the stories they held. She lived with her grandmother in a small cottage on the outskirts of town, where the light pollution was minimal and the stars shone brightly. On the other side of town, there was a man named Leo. He was a musician who played the violin with such passion that his music seemed to weave magic into the air. His melodies were like whispers from the universe, calling out to those who had the heart to listen. Leo had moved to the town seeking solitude and inspiration for his music, never expecting that this quiet place would also bring him the love of his life. One evening, as Elena sat by her favorite oak tree, looking up at the stars, she heard a soft melody floating through the air. It was unlike anything she had ever heard. A tune so beautiful and full of longing that it seemed to echo the feelings she held deep within her heart. She followed the sound, letting it guide her through the dark until she came to a small clearing where a man stood with his violin, playing under the light of the moon. Leo was lost in his music, unaware that anyone was listening. But as the last note faded into the night, he opened his eyes and saw Eleanor standing there, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "I'm sorry," Eleanor said softly, not wanting to intrude. "Your music, it's like the stars are singing." Leo smiled, lowering his violin. "I'm glad you think so. The stars have always been my inspiration." From that moment, a bond formed between them, one that was as natural as the stars appearing in the night sky. They began to meet under the oak tree every evening, where Elena would share stories about the constellations, and Leo would play her melodies inspired by her words. They found comfort in each other's presence, a quiet understanding that needed no words. As the seasons changed, so did their feelings for each other. What started as a simple friendship blossomed into something deeper. Eleanor found herself falling for Leo, not just for his music, but for the kind soul she saw within him. Leo, too, realized that his heart had been captured by the girl who loved the stars. One chilly autumn night, as they sat together beneath the oak tree, Leo turned to Eleanor with a look of determination. "There's something I want to play for you," he said, his voice trembling slightly. Eleanor nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. Leo lifted his violin and began to play. The melody was different from anything Elena had ever heard before. It was filled with love, hope, and a promise of forever. As the music swirled around them, Eleanor felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She knew, without a doubt, that this was a song written just for her. When the final note hung in the air, Leo put down his violin and took Elena's hands in his. "Elena," he whispered, "you are my star, the one that guides me through the dark, the one that makes everything brighter. I love you." Eleanor's heart swelled with emotion. "I love you too, Leo, more than the stars, more than anything." Under the canopy of stars, they shared their first kiss, a promise of a love that would last a lifetime. From that night on, the town often saw the two together, walking hand in hand, sharing their love of music and the stars. And every evening, the sound of a violin could be heard, serenading the stars with a melody that spoke of a love that was destined to be.